Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Unreal eSports SuperTruck Cup Series Season 1. Race number 3 is on it from the Talladega Super Speedway. You might notice something a little bit different about this race. Everything is in the description as far as how it all works out. But 10 minutes to qualify. The top 4 from qualifying advance to the feature. That's right, the feature. It is heat racing here at Talladega. Pretty uncommon thing, but definitely really exciting racing as we usually see. So you're going to see 2 heats here tonight, along with the feature race. Is currently still qualifying underway here, and good to have another league or series with us here tonight on LCTV, the Unreal eSports. Check them out on Facebook, on iRacing. Also do other series, mostly dirt racing, but I'm excited to have them on with us here tonight, and I'm excited to broadcast this race. It's currently Will Klein on the pole. Remember, like I mentioned, top 4 from qualifying advance to the feature. And then everybody who qualified on an odd number goes into heat number 1, except it's actually inverted. At least the top 6 is inverted, I believe, or at least 6 drivers are in it, and the field gets inverted. And then you have heat 2. It consists of the guys who qualified in at an even position. The field also gets inverted for that. They race, and I believe the top 5 from each of those heats go on to make the feature. The feature being a 35-lap main event, of course, with cautions, as we're almost halfway here through this qualifying session. Will Klein still currently on that pole. You see one of these guys try to turn times. Jared Darling out on the racetrack right now, the number 1 Hunt Brothers Pizza Toyota Tundra. He's come across the finish line, complete his hot lap, and looks like it's going to be good enough. I'm not quite sure what spot he got put in. 5th place, so just misses the top 4. Let's look at the top 5 right there. Currently, Will Klein, John Hunter, got our Barker there, Aaron Smith, the 2nd. Currently, those 4 guys. The one's moving on. He's at the 11 machine now, working his way on the racetrack, that being Ken Worley. There's the 96 as well. Rondo Barceloas trying to turn his qualifying time here. And Rich Talladega qualifying pretty much consists of running the top line right next to the wall. As you see this 11 Menards Chevrolet doing here. Run that line for your out lap, run that line for your first lap, but then as you're running towards the top of the track, you're pretty much building up the run, and the momentum in your truck has come off the bank and get a huge run on that straightaways, and you're basically just winding it up around the tops of the racetrack. And I guess looks like these guys might only have 1 lap of qualifying. I'm going to quickly look here for you guys. It is 2 laps of qualifying, actually, so I take back what I said. I'm not quite sure why the 11 dropped down on the racetrack already, but as the 23 also on track, and Mitchell Dub right there. Dobe. Apologize if I mispronounced that. So trying to use these names, of course, first time broadcasting this series, and got some new faces here to us. We got 18 out on the track. Brent Ragsdale. I'm not sure if he's going to get a pit line violation or not, because he came out straight on the racetrack. I'm not sure, honestly, if he did come straight on the racetrack or not, but so Will Klein still sits on pole. I do not believe that the top 5 has changed at all, and indeed it has not. And you see Jared Darling only missed that 4th spot to Aaron Smith by 1/1000th of a second. So just a tiny, tiny margin here is going to pretty much knock him out of the feature at the moment. At least locked into the feature. He can still get in based off the heat race. Here's the 23. He's going to turn a lap here, and I believe he gets the white flag this time. I'm going to try to read off exactly what is happening here. First up, the next few races, we head to Daytona next week. Then it's the Monza Oval, so definitely going to be interesting to see how that goes there. One of the very tough racetracks, only about 1 or 2 lanes wide, extremely bumpy, and actually in real life it got closed down back about 50 years, 60 years ago, almost, because of how many deaths there were. So it goes to show how dangerous a racetrack that is. And after that, it's back to Daytona, Talladega, Daytona 2007, a bumpy old version of Daytona. I get Daytona once again. It's a lot of Daytona, actually, the next few races. But as I'm going to read us off once again here, top 4 from qualifying advance to the feature. Then each heat is 5 laps. Of course, there's no cautions because it's just a heat race. So then you have 5 lap heats. As the 23 is unfortunately not going to get enough to get the top 5, but 5 lap heats. The top 7 from each of those heats go into the feature event, and then the top 6 for each heat. So based off of qualifying, the top 6 are inverted at the start. Heat 2 is identical, and then you go into warm-up, which is 10 minutes long. As we are still waiting for the end of qualifying, about 40 seconds left on the clock. Looks like everybody's finished turn to time, 96, kind of setting up period. Actually, here's the train page going to load in here. A 10 machine out on the racetrack, that being Brian Buzard. We just saw him actually in the ISNE series, so doing doubleheader tonight along with us. Looks like he's going to go on into 26. Looks like he was able to turn a second lap as he runs out of time, unfortunately. The 18 and 96 sit on pit road. There you see the 16 actually on the racetrack there. That being Brian Kaufman. But he's on the apron. So we go into the final few seconds here. Will Klein is going to get the pole for tonight's race. And now they're going to line up for heat number 1. We're going to see where everybody ends up on the grid. And remember, the top 7 are inverted. Top 6 are inverted. So definitely interesting to see how that pays out. And the aggression is going to be absolutely through the roof here. As if you don't finish in the top 7, excuse me. I keep messing it up. If you don't finish in the top 7 in this heat, you will not advance to the feature, not race those 35 laps, and will not have a chance. As there's there's a heat 3 as well, so 3 heats here. However, there are no LCQs to try to help you out there. So which comes down to it. So it'll take you through the starting grid here. The starting grid. Will Klein starts in first. However, I do believe he's going to get shaken back to the back here. It's interesting to see how this pays off. It looks like Iris is a little bit messed up because of that. So we're going to see if we can't flip through here. Trying to... Alright, we'll just do it manually, I guess. So it looks like the 409 of Diane Beardsoff is going to start off on the pole for heat number 1 with Jamie Dobbs on his outside. Row number 2 here, we have the Zach R. Johnson in the 527 with Mr. Dobe in the 23. And then in 5th place, Kelly Dahl in the 1 with Jared T. Darling in the number, Kelly Dahl in the 99 with Jared T. Darling in the 1 machine. He starts off in 6th place. Then back in 7th, you got Ty Dallman, Brian Buzard in the 10. We saw in the last race, actually, in the ISNE series. He's going to roll off in 8th. And then we have somebody in, there it is, Andrew Cardinal, the 4th right there in that 22 machine. He's going to roll off from 9th place. Looks like 10th place is not going to grid up, but 11th, will be Brent Ragsdale. So that rounds out the field for heat race number 1. I guess I was inaccurate on my rundown order of how everybody gets through. A little bit confusing. Obviously, it's pretty complicated. Once you get a hang of it, it's pretty good. So hopefully you guys can understand. Remember, if you do need to look at it again, just go down to the description. I copied and pasted exactly how it goes down there. So As the pace through turns over 1 and 2, we'll take a look at the track information here at Talladega Super Speedway. Obviously, we've seen this quite a bit from the ISNA series, but 2.65 miles. Current track temperature is 89 degrees, located in Lincoln, Alabama. And then the track weather for tonight's action for heat race number 1, at least 79 degree air temperature. Wind direction is to the east. Wind speed is about 8 miles an hour. However, it's dynamic, so it's kind of changing. Current humidity is 0%. Fog also 0%, of course. And sky conditions partly cloudy for a great night. A great day of racing here from the track, at least. As we get set to take the green flag from heat race number 111 drivers, actually 10 drivers are going to take the green flag. Only 7 of them advance to the feature, so that means 3 guys are going to go home after this heat. Things are going to get wild. As it's just a 5-lap shootout, no yellows. If you wreck, you're basically out of it unless you beat 3 guys. Going to get extremely interesting to see who can survive. As we come through turns number 3 and 4 for the final time on pace car speed. Ford Mustang going to head down onto the safety of pit lane. As they see go down onto the apron. And that Diane Beardsoff, 409 Nesquik Toyota Tundra, is going to lead us to the green flag of heat race number 1 of the first race from action. Head to the trial with cigar speed. Green flag's gonna wave here from Talladega and a 5-lap shootout for heat race number 1. Top 7 once again advance to the feature. As already a pretty good start for the inside lane. The outside only has 2 trucks up there. The 77 and the 23. This inside lane though, Jared Darling jumped down here very quickly. Got behind that 527 of Zach Johnson. And now the 409 actually going to go to the top of the racetrack and pretty much give up the race lead. Interesting move there by that Nesquik Toyota Tundra, but I guess that's his strategy and his decision to do, as already almost 23 came down into the 34s. They're 3 wide now for about 5th place, but that 409 just dropping to the back of this pack. I guess he does not want to get taken out in a crash. He just wants to finish top 7 and get into the feature. So good strategy by him, as these guys are already getting extremely racy. Jared T. Dowling going for the race lead now on the outside of Zach Johnson as they're coming through the trial across that finish line. Zach going to try to hold on to it, but it looks like Jared's going to lead the first lap from heat race number 1. Here's 3 wide on the outside. The 77 of Dobbs up to the top side of the racetrack. He's going to make a 3 wide, getting pushed there by Andrew Cardinale as they're still 3 wide for second. The 77 trying to hold on the race lead now. 3 wide back for the race lead as Jared Darling's in the middle by himself with no drafting help. And now it looks like the 22 and the 77 going to get clear. They're going to drop down in front of the 1 now, in front of the 527 as they come through. Turns over 3 or 4. The 1 chops off the 527. Snuck his way down to the inside lane. They'll get back in line and get the draft and try to set up another run at him here. And so far, not had a wreck yet, but as we continue to whittle down these laps, there's going to be 3 to go this time by. They're getting pretty racy behind. There's a block going on there. Got Brian Buzard. And here comes Jared Darling now once again with Zach Johnson this time to try to push him to the race lead. As for the race lead, however, the 77 has pushed up the racetrack a little bit, but the 22 there, Andrew Cardinale, is going to fall back in the line now to the inside. But Jared Darling has a huge run getting pushed there by that K&N Toyota Tundra. As now Jared Darling takes back over that top spot. And we're going to probably see him drop down in front of 77. He can't bring the 527 with him. It's very close. 527 is not quite clear. He's at the save of top in the top lane. As 18 trying to make a 3 wide back here on the 409. I'm not quite sure what the 409 strategy is here. Remember, he was leading the race, pretty much just dropped out of it, went 3 wide, fell to the back. And now he's trying to get back up and race it again. As we're almost 4 wide just on the inside of him. 2 laps to go now. It's 3 wide as he's on the outside lane. 18 right there in the middle. It'll be kind of getting a little bit squirrely back here in the pack. You might just see a crash happen here in 2 or 1 to go. Remember, there's no cautions in these heats. As they come down the back straightaway here, Jared Darling getting pushed once again by Andrew Cardinale. As Zach Johnson trying to push that 77 Best Buy entry to the lead. And we're going to see who are the top 7 finishers, who can avoid the wreck that's probably going to happen here. And who's going to try to pick up the win and get a good starting spot into the feature event. As they come off to number 4 here, and they're going to get the white flag this time by. 1 lap to go in heat race number 1 from Talladega. And there we go, eSports SuperTruck Cup Series. As they come across the finish line, Jared Donnelly leads the field to the white flag, but can he lead him to the checkered flag as well? Getting a great push by Andrew Kerner right now on the inside through turns number 1 and 2, but the outside still trying to challenge. And who will be the top 7 finishers? He's going to make sure Jared Donnelly gets pushed wide. He's going to get put 3 wide in the middle now. Andrew Cardinale going to go on the inside lane, and he pushed, but it looks like that 99 machine. As now on the outside, the 77 and the 527 work together. They get a huge run, and they're going to hold on to the race lead for now. As Jared Donnelly might even fall out of the top 7 here. It's going to be interesting to see if he can hang on to it as they come off turn number 4 for the final time. Looks like a drag race between Andrew Cardinale and the 77 of Dobbs. As they come through the tri-oval, looks like the 77 is going to have it, though. Heat race number 1 goes to Jamie Dobbs in the 77 of Best Buy Toyota Tundra. And we're going to take a look quickly at, we didn't get a look back at it. I'm going to try to look back here, as I got kind of reset right there before we could. And look back at who finished in the top 7. So as they come across that finish line, we're going to look here. So Jamie Dobbs wins heat race number 1. You got 527 Zach Johnson in the second, Andrew Cardinale third. That's the 44 right there. He did finish it in 4th, Kelly Dahl. Jared Donnelly gets 5th. Mitchell Dubb in 6th. Ty Dahlman just barely gets 7th place, knocking out Brian Buzard, Brent Ragsdale, and Diane Burdenzoff out of the feature event. So unfortunate for them, they are going to miss the feature. As it was actually supposed to be a heat 4, but that ended up getting skipped. So I do believe there must be a LCQ, but I'm not seeing it on the iRacing list, and I was not told about it either. So I'm guessing not. As we could take advantage of the Smoky Schemes grid, but unfortunately it doesn't work in heat racing. Apparently, ATVO doesn't really like that. So let's see if it's working. No, it's not. So it looks like the poster actually did not show up for this race. So now RJ Butchman going to start in second on the outside. 3rd place is going to be Brian Kaufman. He's actually going to be in 1st now. So then you have in 3rd Joe Burchett. In 4th you have David Motes. 5th you have, no, excuse me, not 5th. 6th place, no, 5th place. This is really confusing. 5th place is going to be Roy Geeson. And then in 6th, you go to Josh Robin. And then in 7th, I guess, is Tyler Baker. He's going to start on the outside, but in 7th place. So, actually, only 7 trucks in this heat, which means everybody's already going to make it to the feature. So, these guys are pretty much just go have fun. If they wreck, they wreck, and they're all make it to the feature anyway. As I guess some guys did not make it to this heat onto the grid. So it's gonna give everybody a lock into the feature event. So easy for them at least. I'm sure the guys who missed the feature event from the last heat are probably not very happy about that at all. But looks like the 16 is going to take over the race lead because of the fact that he was in 3rd and the guy in 1st, starting anyway, did not make the grid. So pace through turns number 3 and 4. Back at the green flag here for heat race number 2 from Talladega. I'm not sure. Heat 4 got skipped, and I'm not sure if I'll have heat 3, or I'm pretty sure we will. So it's interesting to see how that goes as they come off turn number 4 here. The pace car makes its way down onto the safety of pit lane. These guys lose for a 5-lap shootout. However, they go all the way through the trail over here, so still a long ways to the green flag. So green flag's on a wave here for heat race number 2. And as they get up on the loud pedal, the 78 has to jump on the outside lane. The 16 has the push from behind, that being the 83. So those two can work together for the time being. As you see, it's inside lane on the 26, the 25, and the 8 trying to work together here to get a good run. Baker going to jump up in front of that 78 machine and try to get himself propelled to the front of this pack. But unfortunately for him, I do not believe it's going to be enough. He's right on board now with the 82 of Joe Burchett. Trying to learn his names a little bit here. Pushing that 16 right now of Brian Kaufman. As we now get 4 laps to go from Talladega. Baker has moved himself up into 3rd place after that run on the outside. And is the 78 going to get ditched all by himself now on the outside? RJ Butchanan, excuse me. 26, though, he's hungry to try to find a way around the 25 Tyler Baker, but he does not have the momentum or any drafting help to do that. So he's going to have to pretty much fall back in line behind the 25. Unless he gets pushed up by the 26, which looks like that might just happen. So as they come through turns 3 and 4, once again, Tyler Baker going to try to get another run on the 83 now for a second. There he goes. Going to get pushed now by the 29. As he gets a great side draft off of the 83 and the 16 on the inside. You get just 3 laps to go now from heat race number 2. Which is just going to qualify these guys for the feature, as everybody's already in the feature because there's only 7 trucks made the grid for heat race number 2. So basically, wherever you finish in this race is going to be a better starting spot for the other guys who finish behind you. As now a little concept of the 29 got into the back bumper, the 25 a little bit not square, a little bit off, and I think it's going to hurt both those trucks. As now the 29 falls way behind, way up top of the racetrack, and that's not going to pretty much leave the 25 Tyler Baker without drafting help, as the 26 has to go down low behind him. So the 16 has led every lap so far here. Brian Kaufman, excuse me, actually, he did not lead the last lap. That was, never mind, that's apparently glitched. You see Josh Robin, he's actually lost the pack here. He's about to go a lap down. Not quite sure what exactly happened to him. I'm guessing he got turned or something there. But 2 laps to go from heat race number 2. He's going to make the feature, like I said already. Only 7 trucks in this heat, so not really a huge concern for him. As we come off to number 2, some contact between Tyler Baker and the 26. And Tyler Baker will nail more contact. That's going to turn the 26, excuse me, 25 around. The 29 flips into the inside wall, barrel rolling. And that was coming off turn number 2. They made contact, and then once again, that shootout. I'm not sure if the 25 decided to go back and hit the 26 there, or the 26 just turned them again. But it's not going to leave 4 trucks as we get the white flag here for heat race number 2. As they come through the tri-oval here, Brian Kaufman will lead the field to the white flag of heat race number 2, and Josh Robin go lap down as they work their way around him. Now the 26, Ray hooks the 78 on the outside wall. And now he is taking out RJ Butchanan right there, going for a hard hit and a very wild ride right there. It's pretty much going to now just have 2 trucks to the front. So it looks like it is Zach Borman, Brian Kaufman and Burchett, or Josh Burchett. Joe Burchett, my apologies. So it's pretty much going to be a tandem file turned into a side-by-side finish here. As 83 can get a good run on the outside. He does. He needs to get that side draft. He's right there on the door to door, coming through the trail. We're going to go right down across the line. We're bringing this right down to a photo finish. Here they come. And it's going to be the 83. I think he got it just barely right there across the line. Looks like by about 1/10 of, 1/100th of a second. It's going to be Joe Burchett getting the checkered flag with there. Brian Kaufman in 2nd. Roy Geeson in 3rd. RJ Butchanan in 4th. Aaron Becker 5th. Josh Robin 6th. And David Moats in the 29 truck going to finish it off in 7th. And, of course, all those guys, like I mentioned, make it to the next heat nevertheless. And We're going to take a look back and see what caused that 25 machine to get pretty much hooked around. And Rick Houston has actually received a black flag there by race officials after all that contact took place. So we're going to take a look back at that quickly as we're getting prepared for, I believe, heat race number 3 now. RC does not want to cooperate with me. And in fact, we are now on heat race number 3. But take a look here at the contact that took place in heat race number 2. You're going to see right here, coming off of turn number 2, the 26 drives up the racetrack, and the 25 gets completely sideways. You see his hands working right there inside the truck, and then down the back straight of the 26. And the 26 comes back up the racetrack, actually again into the 25 Talladega. This time, unfortunately, he's not able to hang on to it. And he's going to spin down the racetrack, tags the corner panel to 29, and is going to send him spinning. And then, as the 29 flips wildly down the back straightaway and lands it back on all fours, then the 26 right here, as you speed up a little bit, gets into the corner panel of 78. As the 78 came up the track to try to avoid the 8 truck who's lapped, the 26 actually came down the racetrack, right hooked the 78 in the outside roll head on, and cost him a good starting spot in the feature as well. But again, all those guys making the feature, so not a huge deal for most of them. However, this is heat race number 3, the final heat from tonight. As you're going to see something great here as I do it manually here once again. Unfortunately, Donald Powers is going to be field to the green flag here for heat race number 3. Jeremy Chambers in second. You got Benjamin Miles there in third. Nathan Stewart, also one of the drivers who just saw in the IRCE series. So another guy doing a double header here tonight. He's going to start off in fourth. Xavier Trapp right there in fifth. Trevor Harmon in that number 30 machine. He's going to start off in sixth. Ronnie Outlaw currently in that transfer spot in seventh. You got Ken Worley in that Menards Chevy in eighth. And then Leonardo Barceloas running out the field of starters for heat race number 3. So final heat, top 7 once again advanced to the feature event. So that's 2 trucks out of this race that will be eliminated and not be able to contend for the feature, unfortunately, or any. I don't even know if you're going to get any points or not. Nevertheless, they come through the turns number 3 and 4 here once again. The 28 machine of Donald Power is going to lead the field to the green flag in that Bud Light Toyota Tundra. And 2 trucks are going to go home after this race. Question is, who will be those 2 trucks? The third one has connection issues coming to the green flag. I don't know if it's like the best time to have that happen, but definitely could be worse. It could be during the actual race. So 5 more laps of racing here. There will not be a single caution flag in sight. As they come through the trial with the 65-mile-an-hour pace car speed, but about to receive the green flag here as Yaslin has some checkups with that 31. As they come through and I get into the restart. So the green flag going to wait here from Talladega for heat race number 3, the final heat, to determine the top 7 drivers going to the chase. The feature is already the 33 of Miles. Brandon Miles going to the middle. Going to take a 3 wide for the race lead. Now it looks like he's actually making work now. As Nathan Stewart going to get in line behind him, ditching the 31. He was kind of going slow down in the restart there in the pace last for some odd reason. But now the 15, excuse me, the 75 right there behind that 28, going to give him a push. Down the back straightaway they go, and pretty exciting racing already here, and pretty aggressive as they now come into turn at number 3 for the first time at full speed. 33 side by side with that 28 for the race lead, but he's going to fall back a little bit now as the 75 is doing a great job pushing that 28. So here they come through the trial for the first time also up to full speed and get 1 lap completed here so far. Everybody still in the lead pack as the 75 gets clear of this outside lane, but outside lane now becomes the far outside lane as it becomes 3 wide now for the race lead. The 75 in that move with the trucks behind him, and it pretty much got ditched. Now is that 33 was the top side of the racetrack. That's Benjamin Miles. Is there 3x3 coming off of turn number 2? And now going down the extreme, Nathan Stewart pushing Benjamin Miles right there. Gets clear of the middle lanes. The 33 actually going to jump all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack. Just barely was clear of the 28. And that was definitely a very aggressive but very good move by the 33 right there. Oh, we're going to wreck behind him, though. The 28 gets right hooked. And the 75 gets a bit of damage. The 96 gets a piece of it as well. We got more contact as the 11, he's all tore up now. And I think somebody else got involved as well. It was the 27 machine, that being Ronnie Outlaw. So remember, 2 trucks getting eliminated. And that currently is the 28 and the 27. We still have more racing left to go. 3 laps to go from Talladega. We're going to look at the replay after this, and when these guys go on the track for warm-up laps. The 31's pushed to the 33, but he's having some connection issues. So we're going to see how that comes into play. Nathan Stewart trying to pass both of them on the outside. And I do not believe the 28, his engine is blown, so he is going to be eliminated no matter what. Unfortunately for him, the 27 currently in that spot, but he still has a pretty clean racetrack. He just lost a lot of time because he spun out, so if somebody else does get wrecked here, obviously we don't want to see that, but if somebody does, it's basically going to come down to can the 27 pass him in time. As now looks like the 30's made it a 4-way battle for the lead, as he's going to try to get in line behind the 9 and the 33 with just 2 laps to go in heat race number 3. Nathan Stewart glued to the rear bumper of Benjamin Miles as they come off of turn number 2 and down back straightaway. 4 trucks left to battle it out here at the end, and as long as they all stay in this order and they don't wreck each other, they're all going to advance easily to the feature. As only 1 truck is going to get eliminated now besides the 28, since he obviously is sitting there dead on the edge of the pit road. 27 currently, like I said, in that spot to get eliminated. 11 in the current final transfer spot. But the 75, the 27, the 96 all by themselves. But the battle is for the race lead. If when these guys does get turned, as we have the white flag here for heat race number 3, when these guys doesn't get turned around, they probably will end up getting eliminated. So will we see these guys be as aggressive as we see them so far and try to get the heat win and try to get a good starting spot in the feature, or they just play it safe and try to advance to the feature and be one of those trucks in that final race, one of those 25 trucks in that feature event. As the 31 going to try to do something by himself, but he does not have the help or the run he needs. He's good at the outside of Nathan Stewart and the 30, so they're pretty much both trapped in the inside lane. But now, as he has the connection issues, Nathan Stewart going to get clear of him to try to make a run on the 33. Benjamin Miles for the heat win. Indeed, he does, and go to the outside of 33 with a block. The 9 back down low. 33 is not clear. He pushes the 9 down onto the apron, but the 9, Nathan Stewart going to hang on to it. It's going to be a drag race coming across the finish line. Contact the 33. The 30 got it. Smart Water, Trevor Harmon, as they were baiting and wrecking each other coming across the line. Nathan Stewart going to get second as he wrecked it. The 33, Benjamin Miles in third, and then get the 31 into fourth. 96 is going to finish in 5th, 75 in 6th, and then the final transfer spot will go to the 11 machine, that being Ken Worley. So unfortunately, it's going to be the 27 of Ronnie Outlaw getting eliminated along with the 28 machine, so of Donald Powers. So as these guys get set for warm-up, we're going to quickly look back at that finish there, of course. And that crash also happened in turn number 4 on just lap number 2. And you see it right here as they come through. There's number 3 and 4. They're 3 wide behind them, and it looks like the 27 actually came up the racetrack into the 11. And the 75, that hooks the 75 down the racetrack into the 28. He gets hooked head on to the outside wall. A hard hit for him. He gets launched into the air by Nathan Stewart and others. And so then the 31 just made it 3 wide through the middle right there and managed to make it through. So Jeremy Chambers with an amazing move right there is going to basically finish it off in 4th for heat race number 3 for him. As you see right here, barely on the other side of the throttle, puts it like 3 or 4 wide, if not even more. to get to that spot, and then it was almost for contact after that. They'll be trying to shuffle back around and get back in line. And right on board now with the 28 machine of Donald Powers, as he went for a heck of a ride right there. Right on board with him, currently in second place at the moment, but then unfortunately just bam, head on the outside wall, nothing he can do, and that knocks him out of this race, the feature. And then of course the finish was also just as exciting, as you saw a lot of those guys beating and baiting and coming across the start-finish line. So look back at that as well. You're going to see the move that was made. You have the 9 Nathan Stewart. Right now, pulls out of line off turn number 4. The 33 Benjamin Miles pulls down with a block. The 9 fakes and goes back down low. The 30 is now pushing him. The 33 tries to come down into. He's not quite clear. They make contact. That pushes the 33 up the racetrack. Now the 30 is trying to figure which lane to go in. He's basically trying to push the 33. The 9 goes up the racetrack and doors the 33. Actually, maybe a bit of net code. Basically turns him around. I can't quite tell. It definitely looks like a little bit of net code. It was pretty close. But then the 30 dodges by going up high. Very sideways. He comes down the racetrack into the 9, turns him sideways, and he ends up finishing in second. 3 wide photo finish for heat race number 3. And as they wreck coming across the line right there. But pretty exciting there for sure. As we are going to take a commercial break here for a little bit while my throat rests a little bit. And these guys are on track, warming up, and going to put on a pretty good show. We're going to go side-by-side coverage, though, just for the fun of it. So we're right back after this. A 10-minute warm-up, going to end pretty quickly. We're right back after the short messages.
When I was 16 years old, I was working in a Goodyear tire store, and my boss actually built an old dirt car, street stock Monte Carlo. Went with him one night, fell in love with it. It was a hell of a race, hell of a party, and a big fight afterwards. I was like, this is it. This is it for me. It wasn't long after that, I was driving an old 78 Camaro out of the weeds at that guy's farm. We pulled that thing out and made a race car out of it, and away we went. You know, I think a driver has more to do with the equation going back and racing dirt, whether it's a modified, a late model. You can do more with the race car. You know, the harder you drive it, a lot of times the better it goes. You can crawl up on that wheel and feel like you made the difference at the end of the night. Asphalt car, you can't overdrive them. That was the first thing that I had to learn right off the bat is, oh my gosh, I've got to discipline myself, not overdrive this thing, and that's how you get the most out of it. Truth be told, communicating the right information to your crew and your crew chief so they can do their job and make their appropriate adjustments for you to go faster and do your job is probably 90% of the game in our world. I've always loved late models. You know, my dream was to be a late model driver driving for a living across the country like Daryl and Don do that drive for me. I mean, that was, truth be told, that was my dream, you know. I always wanted a semi. I always wanted a stacker trailer with 2 hot rods in it, and let's go racing. Let's take off with your buddies and go race and chase that dream. Never in a million years did I think it would turn into a Cup Series, and I actually have an opportunity to own 2 dirt late model teams. When you think of iRacing, you don't think of a video game. It's not. It's way above and beyond any of that. You know, dirt racing changes so much. The track changes so much. Being able to capture that, to experience all those details that surround dirt racing and make dirt racing what it is what makes iRacing so cool, because they did nail all of that. I knew when they came to our shop and scanned cars and went to the detail of getting that car right, I knew that it was going to be over the top, because it blew my mind just the work that went into making sure the car itself was legit. This sport has been around a long time. The competition can't be replaced, and that's what brings people back to the racetrack week in and week out.
Team racing allows
Michael live here to the Talladega Super Speedway for race number 3 of the Unreal eSports SuperTruck Cup Series inaugural season here from Talladega. The feature event is what you're watching here with Will Klein on the pole. We're going to see if the scheme starting grid is going to work out for us here. As Will Klein is going to start on the pole at a time of 54.787. Remember, these top 4 guys qualified in to this feature event. Jeffrey Hunter going to start off in second. We're number 2 here for tonight's action. Ronnie Buckner in the 94 and Eric Smith. All the top 4 making it in on qualifying. And then, unfortunately, it's not going to work out for the rest of the starters. We're going to go through them manually. You have the 77 machine of Jamie Dobbs in 5th place, Joe Burchett in 6th. These are the guys who won their heat races. Trevor Harmon in that 31 heat race number 3. Then Zach Johnston finished 2nd. Andrew Cardinale, Nathan Stewart, Benjamin Miles, Tyler Baker, RJ Buchanan. Buchanan, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, I probably did. Jared Dowling right there in that number 1 truck. He's going to start off in 17th. Then you got Leonardo Barceloas, Josh Robin, Jeremy Chambers, Kelly Dahl. Trying to look at the rest of the field here. Ty Dolman, Mitchell Dobe, Ken Worley, Xavier Trapp, Donald Powers, David Moats, Brian Bouzard, Diane Beardsodoff. I'm not quite sure how he actually made it in the feature here, along with Ronnie Outlaw. I'm kind of a bit confused by that, but Rick Geeson as well. And that runs out your field for starters in this feature event. So 21 trucks, or 28 trucks. What? I'm a little confused. Looks like we have 20. I'm not sure how many trucks we have in this field, but we'll figure it out eventually as they come through the trail here. It's at the green flag. Will Klein at 48. Those for pros. Chevrolet at Silverado with field 2 of the green flag for the feature event. 35 laps, this time with cautions from Talladega. This is where the race really counts. As they come through the travel, we're going to see the green flag wave. The green flag. There it is. It's out. We're backing away here from Talladega now for the feature event. As Will Klein leads the field to that. And across the stripe, he already is clear of the outside lane. Is now 3 wide already for 3rd place. Andrew Smith looks like he's going to drop to the top of the racetrack and get out of this pack. These guys do have, I believe, one fastest pair if I'm not mistaken. That's pretty much just one backup for these drivers, but that's pretty much all they get in a 35-lap race. It's pretty long, Talladega. Not obviously too long, as we had heat racing, so we'll make it excessively long event, but as already for the race lead, it looks like Will Klein's not going to be able to lead the first lap from the pole. That's going to go to probably the 4 of John Hunter, getting pushed there by the 83, that being the 83 machine of Joe Burchett. As now on the outside, though, Zach Johnson getting pushed by Nathan Stewart, Tyrell Baker. They're going to try to make a stab at this as we complete lap number 1 here from Talladega. Just side by side now for that race lead. On board with Joe Burchett. He's trying to push to that number 4 Toyota Let's Go Places Toyota Tundra. We got the K&N filter Lucas Oil Toyota Tundra on the outside right there. Looks like he's actually going to have the advantage going to turn number 3, but now the inside gets that run they always usually get, being the shorter around the racetrack. We're on board with Zach Johnson, the roll bar camera. See the shifting knob right there, just jumping back and forth. Complete lap number 2 now. I was trying to go on Will Klein, Will Klein on the gyro cam. Look at the amazement of the banking here at Talladega. It's around 35 degrees. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact number of that, but definitely pretty close to around 35 degrees. But it's about 37, 38, maybe 40. Apologies, I'm not quite sure, but meanwhile, getting pretty racy at the front of the pack still. Zach Johnson trying to hold onto the race lead, at least get the race lead technically, actually, as he's yet to lead the lap. Getting pushed now. Pretty good push now by Nathan Stewart. Actually, Tyler Baker is going to take him 3 wide, as it looks like he kind of went up there himself. And so Nathan Stewart going to go in front of that 77, as almost 77 Best Buy thought about going 4 right there. Jamie Dobbs thought about going 4 wide, decided better of it, but now both of them being at the very top side of the racetrack, the longest way around the track, and not really having anybody else to draft with them, they're going to fall back here quite a bit, I feel like. Let's be able to get a spot in line. As Will Kleinstein moves into the middle lane after starting on the pole. Look at this pack, 3, almost 4 wide in some places. And in fact, they are 4 wide in the back. Andrew Carter and Andrew Smith and a couple other guys were 4 wide there for a second back here, about 20 to 25th place. So everybody that's back being extremely aggressive, but nobody's caused a wreck yet. Everybody using their heads, and while they're being aggressive and going 3 and 4 wide, they're driving smart. That's what we always like to see. Great drivers in this field for tonight's action, and put on a good show for us. It's Tyler Baker now trying to get pushed to the race lead with that 48 of Will Klein. Jared Donnie, Josh Robin, Nathan Stewart, top 5 in the outside lane. As Zach Johnson trying to hold on to it, but the outside lane just a huge head of steam to that straightaway now. Looks at the 48 actually might even get clear with the 25. Indeed they do, but the 48 Will Klein going to stay on the outside lane to try to take that position now away from Tyler Baker and try to keep him from even being able to get a lap here in this race so far as we complete lap number 5, and that means now 30 laps to go already. As you just look at this huge pack here, Talladega. Will Klein's going to finally lead a lap here tonight, completing lap number 5. So go through turns number 1 and 2 here. Once again, the 48 now drops low in front of the 25 as he gets cleared on Jared Darling, the next truck on the outside, getting pushed by the 8 Discount Tire Chevrolet. As Will Klein going to jump back to the top side of the racetrack, but he's actually going to get shuffled out of line as Jared Darling takes it 3 wide on him as he went to the top, but he went a little bit too high up the track, and that's going to cost him all of these positions. He's going to pretty much fall to the back of this pack, I believe, as nobody's going to pick him up as he's towards the top side of the racetrack. So now Jared Darling and Tyler Baker left to battle out for the race lead. As Jared Darling looks like he's going to get a pretty good run off turn number 4 and down through the short chute. Now into the tri-oval they go. Looks like the number 1 Hunt Brothers Pizza has the race lead for now. Across the start-finish line is going to be Jared Darling getting that lap led. Still keeping Tyler Baker, PPP paints Chevy from being able to lead a lap. So far in this one, it's still a long ways left. I'm sure he could definitely do that at some point here in the remaining 30 or so laps. But Josh Robin glued to the bumper right there of Jared Darling. Nathan Stewart and Jamie Dobbs right there behind all of them. As you see, Jared Darling, he's going to get clear of the inside lane. He's going to drop down in front of that 25 machine. And now we're going to see the 25 push that 1, maybe trying to get clear of the 8 and jump up and try to leapfrog the 1 here once again. But so far, it looks not look like that is going to happen. As Josh Robin actually going to try to contend for the race lead on the outside of Jared Darling, just not quite big enough of a run for the 8 machine as across the step the 1 has the lead. But Nathan Stewart pushing him pretty good here. We're going to see if this pays off for him. He's going to be able to get ahead of that 1 of Jared Darling on the inside. Jared Darling gets pushed to the racetrack a little bit by Tyler Baker. I'm not sure if he got pushed or he tried going up there to block that run the outside lane had, but now Tyler Baker gets a pretty decent run on the inside as he goes 3 wide. Jamie Dobbs getting pushed and helped by Will Klein, along with you got Xavier Trapp right there, also all in the outside lane, trying to make things happen on 3 wide on the outside. Now Jack Johnson pushes Tyler Baker to the race lead. Will he try to make a run on Zach, though, before, Tyler Baker. Tyler Baker actually goes up the racetrack 3 wide all of a sudden now for the race lead as they go through the middle. Tyler Baker is going to put 3 wide through the middle. He's not going to lead another lap as Jared Darling's going to actually steal that 1 away. And now him and Josh Robin drop back. Oh, we got a huge crash. I believe that was the 48 going to turn around and get almost a whole half of the back half of the field. The 94, the 96, the 23, the 33 there, Benjamin. A lot of good trucks tore up in the back here. It looks like Aaron Smith got some front end damage out of that one. You see Joe Butcherman right there, 30. Also damaged. And maybe an 83, because I don't believe the 48 was involved, but we're going to take a look back, as that would be the first caution flag from tonight. And some pretty hard hits by some of those drivers. I couldn't tell if it was the 43, the 83, the 48 that got hooked first. As you're going to see going through turn number 1 here, it looks like the 83 got tagged by the 94 down the racetrack into that being the 99. Then he shot back of the racetrack, and what a hit for that 83 of Joe Burchett, as he gets hit wildly and gets pretty much carried down onto the apron. As what a ride for that machine. I run on board with the 94 here of Robbie Buckner, as he's the one who got into the back of the 83 and caused the initial contact, and then hit him when he had that horrible hit. And you see just got left for corner panel and hooked him around and hit him square enough. And then he actually flipped over onto his roof, so when that race into the 33, so Andrew Cardinal involved right there. The 96 is into it late. A lot of trucks tore up here, and these guys do have that one fast pair, so a good half of the field now is going to be using that. As they're right on board now with the 33 of Benjamin Miles, as he got a pretty good piece of this as well. And you see, just gets the back of the 30, and then they all pile up in front of him, and he has nowhere to go as they start checking up, and he doesn't have enough time to react, nowhere to go. So, pretty wild crash here with the first caution from Talladega. Look from the eye in the sky, the blimp, actually, and look at this from pretty much just the whole angle, way up here. And you see the whole good half of the field, if not more, tore up in that one. And some pretty hard hits there, even late. 94 had a pretty hard hit, and that's roll head on. So all those guys, and of course, use their faster, get their trucks back out here. The 34, the 96 looks like they're both all tore up there. 33 just used his, actually, he's not used his fast repair yet. The 23 looks like he's on the track. 94 has used his fast repair. Some of these guys actually had a tow, so it's going to put them a couple laps down and behind the field, unfortunately. But your race leader, that being Jared Darling with Jack Johnson right now in second. We're going to take our first commercial break of this feature event, but we're right back for the final 20 laps or so from Talladega. Don't go away.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Like live here at Talladega Series for race number 3 of the Unreal eSports SuperTruck Cup Series. As we're going to set here for the first restart of the feature event. Coming off of turn 4, Jared Darling and Zach Johnson lead the field to the green flag. The pace car is going to head down onto the safety of pit lane. Just under 25 laps to go, just over 20 laps to go. Really, it was about lap 13 or 14 or so. As that one on the 5 of 27 going to come across through the restart zone and get the green flag here once again. As the green flag in the way, already on the gas, and now we're on to lap number 14, so we have 22 laps to go from Talladega. In this feature event, Tyler Baker got a huge run on the outside of Hill Klein, and if they didn't jump at the start, I'm not sure what then, because that was absolutely crazy. But there you see Zach Johnson. He's actually going to fall in line now behind Jared Darling, with Will Klein pushing Tyler Baker up in the outside lane. There's that little bit of an early jump there for the leader, of course, which is just legal. He got a little bit of a separating of the pack now, as you see the second pack of about 4, 5, 6, 7 trucks or so kind of spread out a little bit, all single file behind. But now for the race lead, it is the one of Jared Darling trying to hold off Tyler Baker and Zach Johnson. Zach Johnson almost went below the WL line right there to pass. As Tyler Baker comes across the finish line, he's going to finally lead a lap here from Talladega, getting pushed by Will Klein there. Now here comes Josh Robin getting pushed now by Aaron Smith on the outside. As got a caution flag now. That's out for the 28, I believe, as his engine is below Donald Powers. There's some major damage to the 28. He's actually going to spit on the aprons. 78, excuse me. Also involved, it looks like, is we're going to take a look back and see what exactly started all of that. As that was RJ, wow, what a ride for the 78 machine, RJ Buchanan. As you see, 3 wide, he comes down across the nose of Jamie Dobbs in the 7, gets into the 33, some weird lag netcode, I don't even know what really happened there, comes shooting back across the racetrack into the 409. Flips up into the catch fence, rides side onto the wall, then rides on his door, and then I don't even know what really happened after that. Spins down the racetrack into the inside wall again. So, a wild ride there for RJ Buchanan, as Donald Powers, has put it behind the wall now. So, we're right on board with the 28 and see if we can get a good angle of that. He's not on the gas. He's still full throttle, and he hits the 30, he hits the 79, or 70, yeah, 79. His engine is pulling, and then he downshifts and actually spins the truck out. So, I'm not pretty sure why he didn't really lift it all through that, but now that's going to knock him out of the race as he puts behind the wall. And now he uses faster bar there. So, Tyler Baker now your leader from Talladega. And, couldn't lead a lap before, but definitely going to lead quite a few now. As I would try to maybe do an interview or at least and go under caution, but unfortunately my throat is just really hurting. So we're going to take a little quick commercial break and but see what this year for the final 20 laps from the feature event at Talladega for the Unreal eSports SuperTruck Cup Series. And right back after these messages. Look, all right.
I want to leap over buildings, want to fly over the shores, faster than a lightning flash, rushing through the cool night air. So start ignition, count to zero. I just wanna be a superhero.
Hey, what's up, guys? Scott Speed here at the iRacing headquarters. Some exciting news about the upcoming Rallycross World Championship. They've got a wild card entry, and yours truly is going to get that spot. See you guys out on the track.
Michael out here to Talladega Super Speedway as we better get set for another restart here, the second one of the night, and what might be the final restart. We have just over 15 laps to go. Currently, Tyler Baker in the race lead with LeCline on his outside. We have the field back to the green flag here. Pace car makes his way down onto pit lane. Control over here. As Tyler Baker's already on the gas pedal, and we're backing away here from Talladega. As single file on the outside. You don't see that very often in iRacing, at least. As you got Tyler Baker, Will Klein, Jared Darling, Aaron Smith, all on the top side of the racetrack. And we already have a caution flag out, and that's out for the 77 of Jamie Dobbs as he wrecks.
Yeah, did my radio sound bad out there?
As Best Buy said, Tundra gonna get back on the right direction. Doesn't look like he actually has too much damage. A little bit of left door damage and left side damage as a whole, pretty much for the 77 machine. We'll take a look back and see what exactly caused that. Take a look here, and you're going to see there's a 77. He's coming down the racetrack and across the nose to four. Not quite sure if he just, I guess he just thought he was clear, misjudged it, but he gets himself turned across the nose of the 4.9. He's back at the racetrack and barely kept it off the outside wall. Everybody else manages to avoid him. So great job by him to pretty much hang on to that and avoid hitting anything besides that 4.9 trunk. Good job, everybody else is right on board with him. He's going up with the fourth gear and already spinning around. So the racetrack just barely misses the 96, comes back down the track and gets missed by a couple more trucks. As you see, the 94 coming a little bit late, also spinning sideways and almost backed into him right there. As that's Robbie Buchner already got involved in a couple of crashes tonight and got a heavy damage in one of them for Lon. And well as Ryan earlier. As you see, he just spun out, didn't hit anything at all though, so no issue for him. And so that's going to put us now under the third caution flag of the race. As you look back up at the front of the pack. See if we can't get an interview here with somebody. Nathan Stewart maybe back here in the 9 truck. Never mind, actually, I do not have permissions to drag people for some reason, so that's not going to happen, unfortunately, but Trevor Baker holds on the race lead. Let's take a look at the cautions here, and summary so far here brought to you by Smoky Schemes. 3 cautions so far. One had 4 lead changes due to most of the cautions. Fastest up the race is 50.044. And since we're past halfway, to look at the race summary here so far as well. 21 laps have been completed. 14 laps to go. I've had 4 lead changes, as I mentioned. And also only 3 cautions, so... Baker continues to lead this field under caution. Have some fun while doing it. Warm up those tires. the Wendigo signal this time by, and Baker looks he's actually in a, I don't know, he's going to look the inside lane for the restart. So there's going to be 11 laps to go when we take the green flag. Have to wait and see if, in fact, can go green the rest of the way. And if not, it's going to be pretty much just one more caution. Or one more restart at least, because after that, it's going to be 6 or 5 laps to go, and it's going to probably end under the yellow flag in that case. So looks like restarts have been set to single file, actually, so we can pretty much stay in that. I guess those to try to eliminate, the amount of cautions we've been seeing so far, so pretty call that league officials. So that means now Tyrell Baker is going to be right in front of Will Klein, Joe Darling, Josh Robin, Aaron Smith, Zach Johnson, Xavier Trapp, Nathan Stewart. First name I don't know, unfortunately. Jeffrey Hunter right there in that 4 machine. 99 of Kelly Dahl. 27 right there of Ronnie Outlaw. Andrew Cardinale. Mitchell Doob. Trevor Harmon. Ty Dolman. Benjamin Miles. Jeremy Chambers. Leonardo Barceloas. RJ Buchananen. Joe Burchett. Jamie Dobbs, Brian Buzar, Robbie Bucker running out the field as the pace car is off, and now Tyrell Baker, as he's control of this restart. Will he jump on that lotto pedal and lead this field back to green flag? It's right now, as they're going up to speed.
Green flag.
Green flag back out here from Talladega now, as they all jump back to the top side of the racetrack once again. This interesting strategy. As they're going to first separate themselves still. Follow these drivers, of course, pretty much teammates and work together as they do in most leagues. So now Zach Johnson and Xavier Trapp are going to be separated and behind. It's not everybody's at the top side of the racetrack because the top few did, even though really it's way slower running the top side of the racetrack. Even if you're by yourself, you could probably make up a couple spots running the bottom. It's kind of like a sociology test, I guess. But now you see some guys jumping out of the bottom and gaining time because of it, but still these front 5 have now pulled away as we come off of turn number 4 and down through the short chutes. It's going to be 10 laps to go this time by, and this will guarantee, if there's another caution flag, I should say there can only be one more restart from this point forward, so all 5 of these trucks, we're on that top side of the racetrack right on board now with that 70 machine of Aaron Smith. Pretty much right up next to the outside wall. Look out from behind, and it's just going to see big gap. As you see the pack, most of the rest of the pack back here, you got Zach Johnston and Xavier Trapp right there. 5th and 6th, or excuse me, 6th and 7th, respectively, drafting together. But they got a big pack out behind them. But really, these guys have just really pulled out to a big lead. He's right on board now with Jared Dowling. We come to the gyro camp now with the 48, Brookline. Comes out of the corner, another straightaway, even banking here at Talladega on the straightaway, so. Hard to believe it isn't going to look like it because of how banked the corners are, but they're still banking here. On the straights, especially, of course, the front stretch with the tri-oval in there. But still on the top side of the racetrack, pushing that 25 machine of Tyrell Baker.
You will have a caution.
Oh, the caution flag comes back out. And that is going to end that run for these guys. And that will set us up for one final restart. That's the last chance we get. Looks like the 27 of Outlaw got towed up pit road there. Ronnie Outlaw. for sure what exactly caused that. It looks like we actually, in that second pack, had a huge crash. As you see the 33 Benjamin Miles coming down the racetrack as he's cleared the 30, he tries to follow him. And that's kind of just a thing you do out of reaction when somebody in front of you goes down the racetrack. You try to follow them, and then unfortunately for him, though, and the rest of the pack, he's not clear. It comes down across the nose of the 27, Ronnie Outlaw. And that's going to cause the 9 of Nathan Stewart. The 4 to get involved. The 96 gets kind of hit up the track right there. The 99. A lot of drivers getting involved in this one here. As you see, the 9 hit the inside wall after the fact as well. Nathan Stewart actually, his engine gets blown. And that might end his night. I'm not quite sure. Looks like Jeremy Chambers has already put it behind the wall. We're going to run on board now with the 9 of Nathan Stewart as for heck of a ride there as well, and just nowhere to go, got right into him and turned up the racetrack and didn't hold the brakes. Kind of actually, it sounded like he threw it in reverse. Not quite sure if he was trying to point in the right direction or what. Probably honestly, obviously frustrated a little bit, but Ronnie Outlaw now has also put it behind the wall as look at the 96 here of Leonardo Barceloas as he got kind of hit in the left rear corner panel. Let's see if he has any axle damage or not. As you see right here, the 27 gets pushed up the track into his left rear corner panel, pretty much picks the whole back end of his truck up in the air, and he kind of hits off the wall. The 4 gets the back end a little bit. And I can't tell if that machine has any damage in the axle or not. It does not look like it is, surprisingly. It's like a pretty big lick to the back end of the truck right there, straight on the axle, but minus the fact that oh no, the toe does look out of it for sure, and it's not really surprising. I'm not quite sure what exactly is broken, but definitely a pretty hard hit right there. It's actually going to ride on board with that 96 machine. Of course, got a pretty good angle of this, and goes high, tries everything he can to avoid it, just kind of gets hit a little bit, and he's trying to get off the wall. But the truck's steering's kind of messed up, and gonna hurt him a little bit. We're gonna take a look from the blimp cam here. As you see, there's a lot of guys involved right there, and a lot of guys not with fast pairs left. Unfortunately, it's going to take some more guys out of this race. So looks like the 96 machine now is on pit road and repairing damage. 9, Nathan Stewart, one of these guys probably taking out the 30 as well. A3 looks like he's a pit stop just normally there. Looks like the 4 had a fastest pair left. So that's good news for him as we set up. Will be about a 5-lap shootout or so, I'm guessing. Actually, probably even less, probably about a 3 or 4 lap shootout. So, going to be interesting to see how that works out. Actually, I think we might get the one to go sit on this time because of the fact that it's single file restarts now as you change the back. So, we might actually have a shorter caution here, which should set us up for a pretty good sized long run here. As you look at, it's currently going to be 6 laps to go this time by, but I do believe we're going to get the one to go signal just because of the fact that it's single file restarts. Let's see if we crosses our finish line. The pace glides turn out or not. As they come through, it looks like they will not turn off. So we're going to take a quick commercial break though, but don't go away. We're right back for the finish of this one as we're about to get set for the final restart here from Talladega in the feature event of the Unreal eSports SuperTruck Cup Series here from Talladega. And we're right back after these short messages.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed, laid-out tracks, fully dynamic, real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original eSport racing game, This is iRacing.
Alfala is $10,500 richer. Two-time NASCAR. This is your 2013 NASCAR iRacing. It's going to be Humpy winning the race, and it's going to be Conti taking away his first NASCAR 2017 NASCAR Peak Free Series Championship to Ryan Luza. Alfala is a four-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Free's iRacing Series.
We're almost out of fuel. You'll have to come in for a splash. Three, two, one, now. All clear. Punch it. Great job. You did really well.
Live here at Talladega Series for race number 3, Unreal eSports SuperTruck Cup Series. I about to hit the green flag here for what will be the final time taking a restart in the green flag as pace car works his way down the pit lane already. Before they even go to the green, they always jump to the top side of the racetrack. So, 4-lap shootout here for Talladega. If caution flag comes out, it's going to end it. Did, however, hear race officials talk about something at the end, so unfortunately I wasn't able to hear it, but that might mean that we might go rest of the way under green. Even if the caution flag comes out, we're going to race it. Not quite sure, but I'll be going to lead the field back to the green flag. That we are sure of, and the green flag is now going to wave. We're backing away here. 4 laps to go from Talladega for the final restart. So Will Klein's on the rear bumper. Now actually going to try to look low. Talladega with a block. As he out with the top side of the racetrack, now they jump back down to the bottom final lane. Going to get back up to full son. As will we see the caution flag fly again? That is the question, and these guys are wondering at the front of the pack. When you make a move, of course, you know the best time to make a move usually is on the last lap, but with the caution flag potentially going to come out here, we've seen a lot of them so far, about 4 or 5 in this 35-lap race. There's honestly, of course, potential to see, and there it is. There's the caution flag, and that is going to bring it out. Looks like it was the 34 machine going around, so that means now the race is going to end under the yellow, and Tyrell Baker is going to get the victory here at Talladega. Pretty much just held the lead there for the last 3 quarters of that race. As the 34 was junked in the back straightaway here. You're going to see. And that straightaway comes up. The racetrack. 94 comes down just a little bit. They make contact. Around goes the 34 machine. And then he gets hit a little bit by Nathan Stewart. And nobody else managed to avoid. But again, that's going to end the race here. So look now from the chopper camera. As you see, just some moves going on. He tried to go up, and Fight was clear. He misjudged it. Unfortunately, that's going to end the race here into the yellow flag. So, Talladega here in first place. They come through the trial over here once again and get the 2 to go signal. Actually, I'm going to pull the ticket back up here. So now we are at 2 laps to go from Talladega. So Baker currently just half a lap away from scoring the victory here. As long as he doesn't wreck it, which I don't think he will. Just kind of having some fun right now. Pretty much we're good to go. As he turns number 3 and 4 for the final time. So Klein's gonna midfield to the victory here tonight. Five wide salute. To come through the triumphal 5 wide salute. We're gonna make sure they finish in the correct order, however. So they're gonna do just that. So Talladega is gonna win here for race number 3 of the Unreal Esports SuperTruck Cup Series. Feature winner Talladega number 25 PPG Chevrolet. Get the victory look line in second, and I'm sure I got an interview with these guys here in a few moments. As we're going to take a quick step away so we can get everything sorted out. We're right back after this. The word in with the top 3 finishers. Just a few moments. Like live here to Talladega Super Speedway for post-race coverage of race number 3 here from the eSports SuperTruck Cup Series. As I wrap things up here with a couple interviews to the top 3 finishers along with the race results here. Top to bottom, first up, the number 1 machine of Joe Darling. Joe Darling, got a copy.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, Jared, you managed to pull out a third-place finish tonight in the feature event. Obviously, had to work your way up after just barely 1/1000th of a second missing out on advancing from qualifying. But you got a solid 5th-place finish in your heat. Started, I believe, about around 17th position for tonight's feature event. We managed to come home with a podium finish. Unfortunately, we saw the caution flag fly quite a bit tonight. Just talk at the race from your eyes and how to get a solid 3rd-place finish.
Yeah, it started off pretty fun. We went, 8 or 9 laps or whatever green, and it was good racing up front. I really wanted to get up front, and I knew we had the reset, so I knew that I could take a few chances, I guess, and just wanted to get up front and try to control the race. And I had a lot of I guess teammates, I guess you could say, working. We were all working together here today, and I think it kind of showed. So and we ended up all finishing pretty well tonight. So it was fun to work together, and just wish the cautions didn't kind of come out like they did, and maybe we would have had a chance to win the thing. But at least we got a pretty good finish, and the racing was fun when we were racing.
Yeah, talk about, going 3 and 4 wide. We saw there for much of the time and in those first 8 or 9 laps, and even in the heats, we saw that for the most part. Talk about, how hard it is for everybody to hold their line and to be able to do that. Obviously, you see it happen a lot at the plate tracks, and especially Talladega is wider than Daytona, but a lot of people back home obviously don't realize how tough it is to hold your wheel as straight as possible, and the pressure is on you.
Yeah, it can be tough, especially when you got people tucked up behind you, and they can kind of get hooked to the back of these trucks, and it can hook you. Really, I mean, they kind of control your car or truck sometimes, so you really got to be careful with that when you're pushing people, especially in the corners or going into the corner for sure. And yeah, the heat races, honestly, I thought they were really racy. We were 3 wide a lot, especially I mean, a mine for sure. And I think that's just because of a little more desperation. And if we would have had a little more green flag racing in the thing, you would have saw a lot more of it too at the end there. It's too bad we didn't get to see that, but oh well.
Absolutely. Right with things up here. Any shout-outs and thank yous you want to give here after your 3rd-place run?
Yeah, shout out to you for broadcasting and having everyone able to watch, and Andrew for the league, and if anyone else ever does it, this is the first time I've run over here, and I think I'll be back for the next one. It was pretty fun, and shout out to everybody watching, and everybody, and TCB Terrell Baker for the win, and Will Klein, Josh Robin, Aaron Smith, all of us were working together today, and all got top 5, so it was pretty fun.
Yeah, swept the top 5 category out of the way for your team, so definitely a good run for all of you. Appreciate your time here, Jared, and congratulations on your 3rd-place finish here tonight.
Thank you.
So that was driver of the number 1 machine, Jared T. Darling, the Hunt Brothers Pizza Toyota Tundra. He's going to finish it off in the bottom half of the podium. Now the number 48 machine of Will Klein finishing it off in second. Will Klein, got a copy?
Yes, sir.
So, Will, you managed to pull out a run-up finish here tonight after only leading 1 lap. Unfortunately for you, didn't really get much of a chance there. Your teammate Tyrell, after like we saw the caution fly for the good last 20 laps there, or 25 laps or so. But the start of the run, of course, the first 10 laps or so before we saw that first caution, we saw, obviously double file. We saw a lot of 3 and even sometimes 4 wide, battling for all the way from the lead all the way back to last position. Just talk about the insanity of that pack and the intensity of how it was at the start of the race, and then obviously, the last few laps there on the restarts.
Yeah, there were definitely some close moments. There were definitely some scary moments where I had to kind of get out of line because I thought I would get bumper hooked. But it was fun towards the end of the race when some of the teammates and we got to work together and run around the top of the racetrack. I thought that was probably cool for the broadcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Jared mentioned that all 5 of you are part of the team and went through 5th place. Definitely can't complain about that in the slightest. Obviously, I'm sure you probably want another shot at it there, as we saw a caution flag pretty much just fly right there, and you didn't really have much of a choice, and then just to stay behind your teammates and and hope that it ended under green. And unfortunately for you guys, it didn't. But when on those quick restarts, of course, we saw all you running single file on the top side of the racetrack. Did you ever think of maybe trying to make a move, or did you feel like it was going to go green for a long ways there when the field was kind of spread out?
No, we were gonna keep it all tucked in line, and then the last few laps we were gonna go battle it out on that last restart. There, we were a little disappointed with that last caution, but we're proud of the effort.
All right, wrap things up here. Can we expect to see you here next week?
I think so. I think we'll be showing up. It wasn't awful. There were some good parts, some bad parts, but we'll be there next week.
Alrighty, any thank yous and sponsors you have here? I'd like to give a quick shout out to.
Thank you to Andrew, I guess, for telling us all about it because he wanted us to show up. So that's the main one, and thanks to Team TCB. Obviously, we performed pretty damn well.
Alrighty, appreciate your time here, Will. Congratulations on second, and I guess we'll see you next week.
All right, thank you.
That was number 48 machine of Will Klein, finishing off runner-up here tonight to his teammate Tyler Baker. I keep saying Banker. As PPG Chevrolet is down with us. Tyler, got a copy.
Yeah, what's up, Lucas?
Tyrell Baker managed to led 22 laps here tonight. It seemed like the first 15 laps or so you couldn't get a lap led as everybody kind of kept nipping you at the line, and then all of a sudden we saw a caution flag fly for quite some time, and of course you and your team taking advantage of that single file restarts there towards the end to try to pretty much just keep all 5 of you 1 through 5, and you're able to get the job done for that at least. And of course you were able to get the victory here tonight for race number 3. And obviously a pretty chaotic race there to start at the first 8 to 10 laps or so, I believe. We saw green flag racing the whole time. We saw 2, 3, 4 wide racing even for the lead and second place, and pretty much the whole pack was just intensity and insanity. But it was definitely very much fun to watch, and I'm sure it's fun out there for you. Just talk about the whole race, the complexion of going from that to having unfortunately quite a few cautions at the end and single file racing. But just tell us how to get the job done here tonight.
Well, the beginning of the race started out like really fun. I think we went green for like 9 or 10 laps or whatever, and like you said, the racing was crazy. It was like I said, it was a lot of fun. I mean, we were racing 3 wide, just trying to get away out there. I'd get up there to second, almost lead a lap, then I'd get the lead, lose it, whatever. I'm trying to figure out how to get back up there. Then after that first caution, it's just like I think we went like another 3 laps, 4 laps or whatever. Then me and the North gang decided to all get together. I think with I don't remember what restart it was, but there was that one restart where we all just got single file and started running the Dale line. It was a lot of fun, man. I mean, that was the first time I think I've ever done that, and the first time I've ever led that. I mean, just something like you do in practice or whatever, just messing around or whatever, But we did it, and once I heard we were pulling away, we were like almost 2 seconds over the pack. I was like, bro, let's keep doing this. Let's keep this going all the way till the end of the race. And then the caution came out. Then unfortunately, we got that patched on that last restart there. We had to go on green, but it didn't matter because TCB, which is me, we came out on top. Me and my boys, the North gang, we all came out here and we did our thing. We held off everybody, and then I mean, obviously, I wanted to finish the race under green. Nobody wants to win a race under caution. You want a exciting finish for the fans, everybody that came to watch the stream and watch this race. But unfortunately, I ended under caution. But nevertheless, of course, I'm happy. Very rare I ever get to even. Well, I mean, I'm good at super speedways, but very rare I ever even get to like win one of these events that are actually streamed. And people actually get to see this. So real quick, I want to thank you for streaming, Lucas. I appreciate it. Then I just heard about this league tonight, and I just decided, I'm gonna just hop in here and do this, my first race, and I'm 1-1. Next week I'm showing up, and I'll go 2-2.
Absolutely, and I appreciate that there. And of course, the most uncommon thing we saw here tonight was the heat racing at Talladega. Usually you have it for dirt racing or even sometimes short track racing, but heat racing at Talladega, 5-lap heats and no cautions. Of course, you earned one of those heats, unlike your teammate Will, who qualified on pole. Talk about the intensity of that heat. Of course, you ended up getting wrecked a couple of times in that heat, unfortunately, but you were still able to advance to the feature. Just talk about the different complexion of heat racing compared to the typical, 60-lap race you usually see at Talladega.
Dude, I'm glad you brought that up. I missed the whole like big elephant in the room, the heat racing. Like honestly, ever since iRacing came out, heat racing, it's been great, and I wanted to do more and more of it. And now that like it, I was telling all my teammates basically like it really puts a big spin on everything. Like I've never raced at Talladega, and actually like every single race. I mean, obviously every race you do at Talladega or any track in that matter means something, but it's like if you don't finish where you need to finish, it's basically like the Gatorade duels. I don't know what the heck they call them nowadays, but the Can-Am duels, whatever. Anyways, every race means something now. Like you have to finish above those last 2 spots, or else you're out. You're not making it in that final race. You just basically sit here and pout and be upset that you missed it, and all your friends are sitting here racing. So I really like the twist, and I think that's one thing that really has me hooked. And I can't wait for next week because just knowing that every single race means something. And I mean, obviously, at super speedways, race can just be you can just be taken out with nothing. It has nothing to do with you. Big crash takes you out. But I think it's really good. I like that the heat racing. I think it's amazing. I wish more leagues would do that. Well, actually, no. Actually, I think they should just keep it in this league, in the Unreal eSports SuperTruck series. Because I mean, heat racing, like I said, it's really cool, and it's something that nobody else. I don't think if you go on any other iRacing stream and look at a league, nobody is ever going to be doing heat racing at Talladega or Daytona. So that's what makes this league unreal. It makes it really fun, and I do enjoy this, and I'll be back every week.
Absolutely, I'm looking forward to that. And honestly, give a couple of shout outs there, but anybody else that they have a quick thank you to.
Well, actually, I'd like to thank my mom and dad for watching. They were actually watching this. I'd like to thank everybody to stop by and watch Lucas's stream here of this Unreal Esports Super Truck series. I'd like to thank Nork, my Nork teammates, my Nork gang, Yeehaw Nation TCB gang, TCB Motorsports for building me such a beautiful PPG 25 machine that we dug out of the junkyard just for this race, but we got the win. And yeah, hold on, sorry, I got it. All right, I don't know if you know, but I do a yeehaw, and I want to do it for you and all the fans, but it was pretty bad. All right, hold on, give me 1 second. Yeehaw! There we go.
Alrighty, well, appreciate your time here, Tyrell. Congratulations on the win. We'll see you here next week.
All right, man. Peace out. Thank you.
You too. So that was driver of the number 25 machine, Tyrell Baker. Baker taking the race victory here tonight in the PPG Chevrolet. Now let's take a look at the results here, top to bottom from the feature event. 25 machine, of course, going home in first place. The rest of his teammates fill out the rest of the top 5. Will Klein in second, Jared Darling in third, Josh Robin right there in that 8-truck in fourth. We have Aaron Smith in the 70 in fifth. And then the first non-TCP Motorsports truck was Zach Johnson in that 527. He did a great run in both his heat and the feature event. He finishes in sixth. Xavier Trapp in seventh, Benjamin Miles in eighth, and Ricardo in ninth, and Mitchell Dobe running out the top 10. Finish alone here tonight, JB Dobbs in the 77 truck, Kelly Dahl in the 99. We got RJ Buchanan, I'm sorry, I still cannot pronounce that. Leonardo Barcelos in 96. And you have Robbie Buckner in 15th. Nathan Stewart in the 9 truck in 16th. 17th tonight here is Joe Burchett. 18th, you have Trevor Harmon. 19th, Ty Dolman. In 20th place is the number 4 machine of Jeffrey Hunter, 5 laps down. 21st here tonight, Ronnie Outlaw. 22nd, Jeremy Chambers. 23rd, Brian Buzard. 24th, Ken Worley. 25th, Diane Birzudov. 26th, Donald Powers. 27th, Rick Geeson. 28th, David Motes. 29th here tonight is Brian Kaufman. And 30th place in the 1 machine, Brent Nicholas not taking time, not turning the lap, I should say, along with Brent Ragsdale and AJ Rogers all not taking a lap here tonight. But I appreciate everybody watching. If you watched both the iRacing E Series and the Unreal Esports SuperTruck, the Unreal Esports SuperTruck Cup Series here tonight from Talladega, absolutely give a huge shout out to all of you for sticking it out. It was definitely pretty fun to do a double broadcast. Obviously hurt my throat a little bit, but it was pretty fun to see 2 back-to-back Super Series races. Obviously put a great show for the iRacing Series and a great show here for the Unreal Esports Truck Series. And again, everybody in chat, appreciate everybody watching the race here tonight, and hopefully we can see you back here next week from Daytona. I cannot confirm that we are broadcasting race number 4, but it is probably most likely at this point. So hopefully that all goes according to plan. And yeah, everybody, see you at Atchison Motorsports Cup Series on Monday night from Atlanta. Make sure you check that out. Tuesday night, the VASR Stock Car Championship from Auto Club. And then, of course, next Friday night, we head to the round of 8 for the chase for the iRacing E Series. And then maybe even have another doubleheader after that. We'll have to find out. But I appreciate everybody watching. It's LCTV. Have a good night.